Welcome to Sea Glass Theater Company's Spotlight Series. My name is Elise Gordon, and I'm privileged to be the board president of Sea Glass Theater Company. Today, I'm proud to introduce Jake Goz, a multi-talented performer who we're thrilled to have collaborate with Sea Glass. Many of you saw him in Music and Martinis this summer. Please welcome Jake Goz. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you.
You as well.
You were a lot of fun on Music and Martinis.
Oh, thank you.
And we're just so thrilled that we're able to do stuff during the fabulous COVID pandemic.
Oh, it's a joy. But yeah, really, if I can pay a compliment, you guys have really done a lot of awesome stuff, that, I think a year ago, nobody would have thought of. And it's been really fun to see all of the different projects you guys are trying to do, and some of which I've been fortunate enough to be a part of, and maybe more soon. So
I hope so. I really do.
Out of the ruins and rubble, out of the smoke, out of our night of struggle, can we see a ray of hope? One pale thin ray, reaching for the day. We can build a beautiful city. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We can build a beautiful city. Not a city of angels, but we can build a city of men.
So tell me a little bit about where you grew up and how you first experienced music and all that good stuff.
Sure. So as far as where I grew up, well, I'm here now. I am originally from. I was born in Bayside, Queens, but when I was about 2 years old, we moved out to Long Island, particularly East Northport, New York, for anybody who is familiar, and that is where I am now. I have been living in my mother's house since September, which I think many of my colleagues have kind of resigned to the taking a year at home if they are able, of course, and. That is where I'm originally from. And as far as, my first taste of music goes, as I know we're going to talk about, my family is very full of musicians and performers and all that. But, my earliest memories of music are really just driving in the car and listening to CDs and stuff like that. It wasn't going to the Met or something like that. It was just, we would listen to Beatles CDs in our living room, and we're Long Islanders, so we listened to Billy Joel nonstop and stuff like that. So, it wasn't really pushed into, like thrown in my face or anything like that. And then when I was 8, at the end of the 3rd grade, where I went to school, we had the option to start playing an instrument, and to my mother's dismay, I decided that I wanted to play the tuba. And she, she's like, really? Like this one, it's bigger than you. Like, yeah, this one. So I started playing the tuba in the 4th grade. I played that all the way through high school. I still have a mouthpiece. Not sure how that would sound if I tried today, but I really enjoyed that. And then, we all were in like elementary school chorus, and I did like, the musical and stuff like that. But when I was 12 in the 7th grade, my music teacher, who was also the chorus director, had kind of heard about, my family and my parents, and he said, like, why aren't you in choir? And I looked at him and said, I don't know. So I then joined my first choir in the 8th grade. And kind of it just went from there. I kept going in high school and then into college, and here we are now, a 24-year-old man living with his mom because there's no work.
Pour madame, quel destin! J'ai sa flamme, j'ai sa main. Jour prospère, me voici. Militaire, militaire et mari. Pour madame, quel destin! J'ai sa flamme, j'ai sa main. Me voici, militaire et mari. Me voici, militaire et mari.
Where'd you go to school? Where'd you go to college?
I did my undergraduate at Syracuse University, and then I completed my master's this past May at Boston Conservatory. So real close to where we're working.
I did not wear the orange for Syracuse.
Well, I wasn't going to say anything, but go orange. I have like an orange
right?
folder here, but yeah, good coincidence.
So what brought you up to New England? And I'd love to also hear about where you've traveled in your musical career.
Yes, absolutely. So I have to the latter part of that question I'll go with first because it kind of comes first. But I've been really, really fortunate over like the last 10 or so years of my life to have traveled a lot because of singing. And it's one of my favorite parts of this profession is getting to run around and see all this cool stuff. So my first experience with that was I was in high school and I was in the audition choir there, and they go on a trip every 3 to 4 years. And when I was at the end of my sophomore year, I was fortunate enough to go on a trip to Spain and Portugal, which was awesome. I cannot wait to get back there whenever we're allowed. And that was a lot of fun. I did some really cool stuff. Like I got to sing in the Macarena Church, which was really amazing. We sang in the Grand Mosque in Cordoba, Spain, which was beautiful. A lot of really awesome things. When I was in college, I was fortunate enough to travel twice, also with the select choir at my college. We first went to France when I was a freshman, which was amazing, of course, because it's France. I actually didn't love Paris as much as I thought I would, but I think that is because we were going so quick. It was like a 10 or 12-day trip, and we were in Paris for like maybe 72 hours, and there just wasn't enough time to really soak it all in. But I got to go to Paris and Tours, and several other small cities in France. That was really fun. And then we were there to sing in a competition, which we won, which was really awesome. And as a result, we then went to an entire European competition, which that year was held in Varna, Bulgaria. So I went to Bulgaria when I was 19 years old, which sounds hilarious, like 5 years later. And that was a really interesting experience because that was never on the map for me. I was like, yeah, I really want to go to Bulgaria, but it was really, really cool to kind of see that part of the world. I've always been kind of a bit of a history nerd, and kind of there were still some Cold War-esque things there because they were in that little belt, the Iron Curtain, and that was a great experience. And then most recently, at least traveling outside the country. Prior to my first year of grad school, I did a summer program that took place in Montreal, Canada. Spent a few weeks there, and that was really awesome. I went there thinking, oh, yeah, they speak English and French. And he goes, no, they speak French and some English. So definitely was going by the seat of my pants, picked up a little more French than I had known before, which was great. But that was a really great experience as well. So like I said before, I've been very fortunate in my ability to travel at such a young age, and I really hope to do it more into the future.
Hi, I'm Blake. You may know me as the guy that's sometimes funny on Facebook, but there's a thin line that separates laughter and pain. It was just a run-of-the-mill audition, nothing special. I started with a handle aria, and I had just added some new ornaments that I was so excited for when...
Stop. That's okay. Thank you. Thank you.
They interrupted me? On my first piece of all things? I guess it didn't matter. I had my second piece to show them what I'm really made of when...
Well, are you sure you don't want to hear?
No.
No? No? I paid $60 for this audition and I get a minute and a half of a lousy handle aria? What kind of sociopath does that?
I was, I don't want to say it was a singular person that brought me to Boston, but it kind of was. And I know she's gonna watch this, so I'm gonna shout her out. One of my best friends in the world. Her name is Katie DiMaria. She is a fantastic executive in the Boston music scene. And we became friends in college. She was actually my freshman RA, and we became very close. And she had moved to Boston. She was working with Voices Boston, still does. And as I was auditioning for grad schools, I auditioned in a few different places. But you know, she was talking up Boston, and I came to visit her right before my senior year of college. Absolutely loved the city. And I was really fortunate that I was able to get in touch with my current voice teacher, Dr. Rebecca Folsom, who teaches at Boston Conservatory. And I was really just lucky enough that she took a shot on me. And, you know, I got into the conservatory and she had a spot open in her studio. So I think those are the two biggest things that got me to New England, and I'm very thankful for them both. Headshots done my first year of grad school with a wonderful photographer named Felicia Knapp, who's also a singer, and she's fantastic at what she does. Excuse me, her and her husband Paul, who do the photography. They're great. And I had an old friend of mine who I really trust his opinion, and he said, you know, Jake, you could send these in and maybe see if an agency likes them. Why not? And I was like, oh, no way, like that's not possible. And then my first year of grad school came, and I was so stressed about money and having time to make money, because being a full-time student is really hard, and then also having to pay your rent. So I did. I kind of sent my stuff out to a few agencies in Boston, went to some open calls, and actually did receive a contract from an agency in Boston. And I'm not going to say that my modeling career is terribly active right now by any means, but I am under management, and I've gone out and done some stuff. I do have a modeling website for anybody who's interested. That is a real thing. But that is one thing that I do, and it is a lot of fun. I actually really enjoy it. When I do get the opportunity to go into a shoot, it's fun. It's a great confidence booster, because you're like, oh, these people want to take pictures of me. Yeah, all right. So I do enjoy that. The second of which, and the more primary one at the moment, I would say, is my fitness professional career, and that came via the pandemic. You know, one of those blessings in disguise kind of moments. It's something I talked about for years. My mom currently works in the healthcare industry, and I had always been interested in it. I've, you know, done health and fitness and stuff ever since high school. I played sports, as I said before. And, you know, when you're sitting at home all day and you can't really practice more than, you know, an hour or two in the day, you got to find stuff to fill your day with. And I decided to get my certification, and that happened over the summer. I took a 3-month-long class and was certified in the fall. And at the moment, I am working at a gym here in town, and you know, my clientele is growing a little bit, and it's a lot of fun.
More than a catbird hates a cat, or a criminal hates a clue, or the Axis hates the United States. That's how much I love you. As a sailor sweetheart hates the sea, or a juggler hates a show. blessed event. That's how you are loved by me. More than a waiter hates to wait, or a lioness hates the zoo, or a batter dislikes those called their strikes. That's how much I love you. As much as a lifeguard hates to swim, or a writer hates to read, or the haze off his frowns on low-cut gowns. That's how much you I need. I love you more than a hive can itch, and more than a chill chills. I yearn for you in an ivy-clad igloo, as a liver yearns for pills. I swear to you by the earth below and above, it's such there be, as a dark send of hawks revolving doors. That's how you are loved by me. That's how you are loved by me.
So tell us about one of your more memorable performances.
One reason that I was like, okay, I need to get it together was because I had a performance with my choir that the Wednesday evening, and I walked in a rehearsal that afternoon for like our dress, and my conductor, a man named John Warren, who I love dearly, he's a great man, just looks at me and is like, are you sure you want to be here? And I said, yes, I absolutely want to be here. And the reason I'm saying all this is because we had that concert that evening, and I don't remember anything that was on the program. I don't remember how we sounded. I don't remember what we sang, any of that. What I remember is that for an hour or however long we were on the stage, life returned to normal. And I wasn't thinking about what had happened in my personal life. I wasn't thinking about how I was going to deal with it in the coming months and years and all that. And it was a big step in moving on from what had happened. Again, it's just one of those things where I don't even think I thought about it in the moment as to what was going on, but it's something I always remember. And when you ask that question, I could have talked about my favorite moment on stage or when I felt like my best performance, but I wanted to share this one because I think it highlights a lot of what we've been missing for the last year and not being able to be on stage and how special that can be, because whether it's a choral concert or if you're in an orchestra or you're on stage performing a role or something like that, you get to go away for a little while and just be. And that, for me, that is the most memorable performance I've ever had, even though, again, I couldn't tell you what we sang.
Like a perfumed woman, the wind blows in the bunkhouse. Like a perfumed woman, smelling of where she's been, smelling of Oregon cherries, or maybe Texas avocado, or maybe Arizona sugar beet. The wind blows in and she sings to me 'cause I'm one of her rambling kids. She sings, Joey, 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 Joe. You've been too long linen gets to feeling too soft and cozy, when the grub they've been cooking me gets to tasting too good, when I've had all I want of the ladies of the neighborhood, she sings, Joey, 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 Joe, you've been too long in one place, and it's time to go, time to go, Joey, Joey, Joey.
So now I think I'm going to jump over to the family legacy.
Ah, yes.
I'd love to hear a little bit more about that, and from your perspective, we know it's in your genes, but tell me a little bit about that family connection.
Yes. My father was a trained singer and performed on Broadway. My mother was a trained opera singer, still is, but does not sing anymore. 3 out of my 4 grandparents are trained musicians. Both of my dad's parents. My grandfather on my father's side was a gentleman by the name of Harry Goz, who had a very successful career on Broadway and in television, which is really awesome. And his wife also was a trained singer as well. She sang opera, a little bit of musical theater and all that. To go a little further, which I don't know if I've spoken to Patrice about this, my uncles, my grandmother's brothers, own a string company called Shar Music. For any of you string players out there, it's based in the Midwest. And they are both very highly acclaimed violinists. My mother's brother is a very, very renowned jazz saxophonist who's toured, back in his day, toured with any real fantastic jazz musician you could think of. The two we always separate, Wayne Newton and Ray Charles. And so he really lived the gig life. It was very cool. So I, despite what a lot of people would think, I did not grow up, like going to shows and all that kind of stuff. My parents did not shove it down our throats by any means. This was, I was not born and this is what they were going to do. I actually told my mom I wanted to major in music, and she went, "Oh, are you sure?" They wanted me to be a lawyer, but at the same time, my family has been overwhelmingly supportive of what I do, and I am so beyond grateful for that, mostly because I can complain and they get it. But for real, I can talk to my mom about something in the business that annoys the living out of me, and she can actually empathize because she's gone through similar things. My mom has actually been responsible for several great rep choices of mine. This actually sounds very nice in your voice, and I don't want to listen to her, but then I go back and go, she's
that's eternal, that cannot be torn apart. There's one thing that remains forever true. Past the thinking, past the breathing, past the beating of my heart, it will all fade away, but you
So let's end with something that I was really impressed with. Your mission statement, I help others find their feelings. As I was thinking about that, I read that on your website. And as I was thinking about that related to music and what you do and what my brother does and Patrice and what Sea Glass is all about, it's such a wonderful circular audience, performer, connected, the whole thing. Talk to me about where that came from and where you see it taking you as you continue in this wonderful career.
We take a kind of an opera business course in our second year of our master's, and website building is a part of that. But one of the first things that we talked about was a mission statement. And it was exactly kind of what you said, is at your core, what are you about? And it was, for me, it was about more than just being a performer, because I think when you make this decision to be in this career, you put so much more of it in yourself into your job than I think a lot of people realize. It is more than a job, as I'm sure you know. We put a lot of us into it. When I think about music, the arts, stage performance, so much of it is emotional. You are trying to convey emotion, and you are hoping that the people in the audience are going to get your message. And sometimes that message will incite feelings that you may not have realized were a part of what you were doing. And so I sat there for a while and came up with, I help others find their feelings, and I submitted it for the assignment we were doing, and Professor Pape was like, "Yes, fantastic, this is great." And the putting it on the website and really talking about it was something I stole from Eric Faring. And Eric has a really beautiful website that he clearly worked very hard on. And in his bio area, he had this mission statement, and he talks about a lot of the same things that I did. And I was like, this is a really good idea. I want people to know how much I care about what I do. And when I do step on stage, whatever that is, it is with my full self, whoever it is that I am on stage as. And I have been very fortunate over a very short period of time to have played a vast variety of characters who have different motives, different backgrounds, and all that kind of stuff. And my process of getting there doesn't change. It's about finding aspects of myself in that person and using that to get into who I think they're supposed to be. And I think in that way, it is a very true matter of conveying what the composer, director, artist is trying to show.